Yo, what's up everybody? I just got SoundSwitch a couple of days ago and I've been messing around with it. Now I found a really cool feature that allows me to control SoundSwitch using my DJ controller. And I wanted to share that with you guys today. Now like I said, I'm a complete beginner at this, I'm just figuring it out, but this specific feature is something that I didn't find on YouTube from anyone else, and I thought it was really cool because you can literally just press a button on your controller and it can control a light show in your SoundSwitch. This makes it really easy for someone controlling their light show and DJing at the same time, and then you don't have to switch between your screens, especially if you don't have a standalone DJ lighting controller. Now to DJ, I use Serato, so this specifically I'm going to show how it works with Serato, but I'm sure you can do it with any other program as well and follow these steps. So I've got a little light show here set up with a couple uplights and a small moving head, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this next. Okay, so starting with SoundSwitch, when you open SoundSwitch, this is the main screen. I'm just going to go to Perform, and I just pick my default venue. Now I've got mine set up in the Ableton mode, so all I have to do is turn this on and the light show will start. So now you can see that the lights are just kind of doing an auto loop right now, and they're just going to kind of be doing an auto loop in the background. So let's start by MIDI mapping, let's say just this red function, right? So when I click this, all the lights just turn red. Now the way to MIDI map this to your controller or just to anything, right? You can also MIDI map this to a keyboard, to just a random MIDI controller, or to the SoundSwitch Control 1. All you have to do is right click, click on map, and now you'll see that this thing starts glowing. The edges start glowing red, which means that it's waiting for the MIDI. So on my controller, I'm gonna pick the hot cue. And there we go. So you can see when I hold the hot cue, all the lights, the override turns red. See, when I press it again, the red turns off. When I press it, the red turns on. Now there's one huge caveat to this, and I'm sure a lot of you noticed it, but every time that I press this, it also activates the hot cue in Serato. You see when I switch back to my Serato here, I'm pressing the red to turn the lights red, but it's also activating my hot cue. So this is one of the things you really have to keep in mind when MIDI mapping on SoundSwitch to your controller, is that that button that you press will still activate that effect in Serato. So you have to pick a button that doesn't have any kind of effect in Serato. Now that might seem kind of challenging, but I've actually found a few buttons on here that don't do anything in my Serato that I've used to now MIDI map to my SoundSwitch. You can get creative with this and pick any buttons, find ones that you don't really use and don't really do anything in Serato on your own controller. But I'm just going to show you some that I've found that work well for me. So since I've realized that using the hot cue isn't going to work for MIDI mapping, I'm going to show you next how to undo it and then pick a different button instead. Right now the red says it's mapped to DDJ Rev 1. So all I have to do is go to map again. You see it's glowing red. And to undo it and to unlink it from my hot cue button, all I have to do is press return/enter to clear, and you can see it's cleared. Now to get out of MIDI mode, all I do is just click somewhere else. And just like that, we're back. So when I press the hot cue now, it has no effect on the red and everything's reset again. Now specifically on my controller, I've found that there are some buttons that I don't use that have no effect in Serato, and that's in my sampler. So when I switch to sampler mode, I get these 8 pads down here in total that I can use to MIDI map to anything. And you can see for my setup in Serato, I don't have any samplers in these banks. So nothing really activates when I press them, and they're perfect for me to add some lighting cues into. So I have those selected, I have that mode selected here. So now if I want to MIDI map, I just do what we did before. Click map, it's glowing red, and I want to make red this guy right here. So now every time I click it, it's going to red, click, red, click. Let's say I want to make the next button here this amber color. So map, it's glowing red again, and I just go to this guy here. So now click amber, unclick, just like that. Another cool one to use is the strobe. So what you can do is again click map, it's glowing red, and I'm going to assign that to this third pad. So now every time I hold the strobe button, it'll start strobing, and when I let it go, it'll stop. This is awesome if you want to just do a quick build up for a drop. There's a hype spot in a song and you can just hold that, strobe, let it go. Same thing with blackout. You can go to blackout here, MIDI map, and I can make this last one blackout. So you can see when I hold it, it blacks out. When I let go, when I let go, the lights come back on. And if you want to change how you toggle that, you can do that easily here too. You just click toggle mode, and now when it's on toggle mode, it just means when I press it, it'll black out, and to release it, I have to press it again. For blackout, I specifically like the press mode here. You click press mode, so now when I press it, it blacks out. When I let it go, it releases. But you can change that in SoundSwitch with any of the types of buttons that you want to map. Now, just to drive the point home, I've also made these static looks, and you can map any of these the exact same way. So you just go to map here, it's glowing red, and now I want to use these pads. So now this button's been mapped to my lilac, so you can see that when I press that, it just goes to my static mode in lilac and everything just switches over. Now I got another one called baby blue, so I can map that one. Let's say I want to do baby blue to this. And now when I press it, everything goes to baby blue. When I let it go, it goes back to its auto loop. So this is really convenient while you're DJing. You can just press a button on your controller. You don't have to switch. You don't need an external device. The possibilities are really endless how you want to MIDI map this. Just to show you guys, on my Rev 1, I don't really use these effects buttons. So I've also MIDI mapped these because they're a little bit easier to access than having to press the sampler and then go and press a pad. So I've mapped this one to do strobe. You can see when I press it, everything starts strobing. I've mapped this one to just be all white, so when I hold it, everything goes white, you know, kind of like a blinder effect, you can see. This last button I mapped to just do a blackout mode, so I could hold that, drop it during a song. While you're mixing, you want to press as few buttons as possible. So these are a bit more convenient and more available, so I also mapped those. But yeah, you can literally map this to any buttons that you don't use in Serato as well. Now you can apply this same theory to knobs and faders as well. It's just that I haven't found a fader or a knob that I don't use in Serato. But just to show you guys as an example. So you can just right click this if I wanted to, you know, override this movement rate, and then I could change this knob. This is the level, the effects level. So now when I turn that down, turn it up, it's all being affected just from this knob right here. But I do use that knob sometimes in Serato, so I don't want to have that one. All right, now that we've mapped everything, let's just do a quick demo just to show you guys that everything still works in Serato and still works from SoundSwitch. I have SoundSwitch open in the background as well. But now let's say I play the music, all my volume faders, hot cues, everything's working. So the music's playing and I want to, let's say for some reason I want to turn everything red. So I just go to my sampler, hit the red, and I got the red override. And then this will be like that amber override that we did. This will be the strobe. So I hold that, I could strobe the lights and then drop. Now remember, I also MIDI mapped these effects buttons, so I can also use those. We got our strobe there, holding the strobe, and then a drop, release it. I got the white out for another build-up kind of thing. And then I got this one, I did the blackout, right? So right before I drop, 1, 2, 3, drop. So I can do all that from my controller while not affecting Serato. And this is just an awesome functionality. Now hopefully that was helpful for you guys and showed you guys a really cool functionality to make DJing and controlling your light show a lot easier. I'm really loving SoundSwitch so far, and my only regret is that I didn't get this thing sooner. For those more experienced SoundSwitch users out there, I couldn't figure it out, but if you know a way in Serato to disable any buttons, like for example, let's say there's a knob that I don't really use in Serato and I want to disable that function in Serato, let me know if there's a way to do that in Serato. I think in Virtual DJ and some of the other programs you can do that much easier. I just couldn't figure out how to disable MIDI in Serato so that I could literally map anything anywhere, especially with some of the knobs and the filters. So yeah, hope that quick and dirty video was helpful for someone out there. If you found this helpful or want to see more SoundSwitch videos from me, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.